Welcome to Saving the Investor with certified financial planner, investment advisor, and insurance professional Alfie Townsend, president of Advantage Retirement Group.
Good morning, Southwest Florida. You're listening to Saving the Investor radio show. I am Alfie Townsend, Southwest Florida certified financial planner professional. I am here with Pastor John Antonucci, and we have a show today. A lot of news in the making regarding the financials. We're talking about tariffs and what you should be doing and what you shouldn't be doing. So welcome to the show.
Yeah, good morning, Southwest Florida. We do have an important program ahead. First, we'll bring you up to speed on the tariffs and the latest market developments, but Alfie will share insights and strategies to help you navigate the current landscape with confidence as you move through the fog of investing. But before we jump into that, Alfie does have a special offer for all of our radio listeners. Alfie's book, Making Waves in Retirement, has been such a hit that he's decided to release a limited number of free copies once again. This book is a must-have for anyone seeking a fulfilling retirement, full of practical guidance, real-life success stories, and strategies Alfie has used to help countless clients find financial peace of mind over his 40-year career as a certified financial planner professional. Don't miss your chance. Just pick up the phone, call the operator, and ask for it. Or you can text the word book, B-O-O-K, to 239-747-1077. Call that number or text the word book to 239-747-1077 and claim your free copy of Making Waves in Retirement. Well, Alfie, President Trump, one of his favorite words in the English language is tariff, and that word tariff is shaking the markets a little bit, but that's to be expected, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and you got to go back and really see what's been happening to our country for all these years, and it has not been a fair situation. I'm listening to more and more of the people that really know about this, and they're saying it just, is not right where a country can, we're a global country right now, and it started years ago that, and we're sort of paying for the world right now.
Right.
And we're paying it by almost $2 trillion a year in stuff that we're taking in and less that we're sending out. So it is a problem. It is a problem that needs to be corrected. Now, anything that's worth anything is going to take time. I've said this in the past. I said if Kamala Harris was our president right now, the market would be not doing what it's doing. It would probably be up another 2,000 points, 3,000 points. But that would be temporary, because if you keep doing what you're doing without making changes that you need to change, if you keep spending money that you don't have, what's going to happen on that credit card bill? You're going to have to pay it up.
Yeah, well, short-term pain is always going to be better than long-term. And like you said, if she was in office, we might bankrupt the country if we kept going on this.
Well, we would have, not might. We would have, and that's the thing. And so in order to have these tariffs that we have that Trump is, putting on with these other countries, what that's going to allow us to do is, because when you start lowering taxes for the American people, when you start lowering the taxes, you have to offset it with something. So the tariffs will help offset it. The Doge is going to help offset it. So in the long run, we will have more money to spend. And the first day on Thursday, when the tariffs went into effect, pretty much when they were announced, the day after they were announced, Ford Motor came out and talking about we are going to give family rates to everybody, for the vehicles. Yeah. So the family rate's a pretty big savings. So you're going to have, and then you're going to have countries coming back and saying, you know what, we will give you reciprocal tariffs. We'll give you what you charge us, and that would be. That's going to create less expenses for us buying products from them.
Yeah, well, I found it interesting. Maybe you can elaborate on this, why he didn't really match. 95% of all the tariffs he put on were less than what other countries are charging us. What's the theory behind that?
I would say the theory is more of, it's already to, let's do 50% right now, and then it is, negotiable. I think by doing 50%, the countries are going to say, you know what, we need to have a conversation with the United States. We need to have a conversation, and make it a little bit more fair, just to show that it's not fair. They know it's not fair, and it's it's rattling the markets right now. Thursday was an awful day for the market, but what can you do? We're going to talk about what you can do when the markets are like this. That's why it's so important to have a portfolio that is not all tied to the market. You have to have it where, where you have things, if it's bonds in there, if it's structured notes, if it's, tender offers. These are things that will help you offset, especially income planning. This is a perfect time to talk about the income planning, John, because as tariffs are the talk of the month, it seems like, and then you have markets going down. If you're taking income from a down portfolio, this is where you have trouble. And so if your advisor isn't talking about alternatives that to your just taking money out of a portfolio straight across, taking a certain percent, that's called reverse dollar cost averaging. So you're taking money out of something that's going down. So this is very, very important to make sure that, because these tariffs are going to last for, it's not going. Hopefully it's short term, but he's talking more of a long term. But with less, hopefully with less, but they will have adjustments. But the markets are adjusting to this right now.
Yeah, and you're making a great point, because people that are listening to us today, maybe that need to come in and sit down with you, if they're currently retired and they're totally exposed to the market, you're saying that you don't want them totally exposed if they're depending on that income, and you have strategies basically that will sort of branch out into other areas that are, maybe a little bit safer than just being exposed to equities. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, exactly. You just can't. The old days of taking money from a portfolio across the board, it doesn't work. You have to have. What we do is we'll do structured notes. We'll do different things that, even if the market goes down a little bit, your income's not really going to be affected. So you're still taking your income and let your monies go up and down with the market like they're supposed to be. And when it recovers, it will recover. By the end of the year, we're probably going to have a positive market. But as of right now, with these tariffs, and if you don't make change, if we don't change our country to this spending habit that we have, we're going to be in serious trouble. So, what President Trump is doing is he's doing what other presidents talk about but never did, and you gotta give him credit for that. We might not like it right now, but in the long run, it's like punishing your kids in the short run when they do something bad helps them in the long run not to do that again.
Yeah.
So this is what we have to go through right now, is this little pain that we're having. But as long as you're in the market for the long haul, I think you're going to be just fine. You just have to make sure your income plan and you're situated, maybe better than what you are.
Yeah. Investing in 2025 is very complex, and that's why you need somebody who has the experience, who has the understanding that it takes to get you to and through retirement. Alfie is Southwest Florida's certified financial planner professional. He has over 40 years experience in this industry as a certified financial planner, but he's also a fiduciary, which means his responsibility is to you, the individual investor. Listen, you need to make an appointment. The reason why is because you need to have your portfolio examined to make sure that you're on the course that you've set, and how you can navigate through the fog of these type of situations where the market is very volatile. Alfie has put together a computer program called the Retirement Simulator Process, that will take a deep dive into your current portfolio to see what's really going on. He's actually going to take you back 5 years and show you exactly how his portfolio performed side by side with what you currently have. And he's going to expose all the hidden fees that could be eating up your returns each and every year. Make sure that you're not taking undue risk for the amount of return that you're getting. He's going to make sure that you're allocated properly, diversified correctly. And listen, you want to sit down with him because he's a second pair of eyes, a second opinion. Maybe you've been with an advisor for a long time and you're only in one set of asset classes. You want to be diversified. Alfie's going to show you how to do that. Listen, sit down with him in Fort Myers or Naples. He has 2 beautiful offices. All you have to do is call the operator or text the word VISIT, VISIT, to 239-747 1077. You owe it to yourself to sit down with Southwest Florida's premier financial planner professional, Alfie Townsend. Call the operator or text the word VISIT to 239-747-1077. Visit with Alfie today. He's going to add value not only to you, but to your portfolio. Stay tuned. We're going to be right back right after this break, so don't go away. Welcome back to Saving the Investor with certified financial planner Alfie Townsend. You know, Alfie has designed a toolkit that really will address your economic uncertainties, the worries that you may have, the anxiety that you may have about investing, and maybe you put your financial decisions on hold. But this toolkit is going to transform your worries into confidence. And what you're going to get inside this free toolkit is a wide range of materials, such as will your money last as long as you do? Are you paying too much in taxes in retirement? You're going to get the Social Security's decision guide. When is the most opportune time for you, an individual investor, to take Social Security to maximize your benefits? And will a recession rob your retirement? Listen, to get Alfie's free toolkit, simply call the operator and ask for it, or text the word KIT, K-I-T, to 239-747-1077. You know, it's time for a worry-free retirement. Call Alfie today. Get his toolkit. Call the operator or text the word KIT to 239-747-1077. And Alfie, we're talking about Liberation Day. You know, the president is very excited about this. You know, I watched his, little press conference there at 4 o'clock yesterday, and he's excited about this because I think he sees the end at the beginning, and he knows it's going to be a little difficult to get through that. Yeah. But if you know all these companies are coming back, manufacturing, jobs, I mean, it's going to be a boost to our economy down the road.
Yeah, it has to be. It's just, again, if you can't see, if you're just seeing the short-term pain, and you're looking at your you're looking at your portfolio and you're looking at your accounts and saying, man, I lost, $200,000, I lost $100,000, whatever it is, $50,000, $20,000. You're not liking it. You're not liking the feeling right now. And I understand because, obviously I look at mine too, and no one, and I look at it for our clients because I look at our overall portfolio that we are managing for our clients, and I don't like to see downward. I just don't. But in reality, to get the market to go up, it's going to go up and down. It goes up and down. It doesn't just constantly go up. If you want it to go constantly up, then you're not going to be in the market. You're going to be in something that has guarantees, and we have that too. If you want something just to say either don't go down or go up only, we have those type of accounts for you. But if you're looking for something that gets market returns, you have to be in the market. But there's ways to be in the market. You have to be diversified. If you're not diversified, if you're not having things that are offsetting your income, that's offsetting your volatility, then you don't have what we call a diversified portfolio. So these are all things that we have to take in consideration. If you really haven't had a portfolio check, and I'm saying this because we don't know how long this is going to happen. We're hoping it's going to be a shorter term with this market volatility. Thursday was a big hit in the market, so when you have a market that takes a big hit like that, it could be one and done, and then you'll see people starting to get back in. Because remember, if you like that Tesla product, if you like that Apple, if you like that Amazon, Nvidia, whatever it is, stock, and now you're getting it at a 10% discount, 20% discount, is it worth? That's like what we did. We bought some Tesla stock when it was down quite a bit a couple weeks ago. And that's what people are going to, the big money is going to come back in and say, listen, it's time to buy. And when they start buying, that's when the market starts to go up. So it's going to happen because the companies are going to be, they're making money. They have their customers, they have their clients. So it's either wait for it to keep going up, and then get in it, but then you lose the gains going up. And that's where you have to be a contrarian and do the opposite of the masses.
Well, let's talk about that because this isn't your first rodeo. We've seen this before, and the portfolios come back very quickly because aren't your managers buying what's going down right now, which is going to be something that people are going to have more of
Yeah.
And then when it comes back, I mean, it comes back pretty quick from the times, I've been sitting in this chair for over 10 years, and
Yeah.
we've seen this before.
Yeah, we've seen this. This is not our first one that we've seen, and it's with COVID, it went down fast. With '08, it went down fast. So these are things that if you panic and get out, what happens is you're not going to make those losses up for years, if ever. That's the problem. So the market will make it. If you look at the market, how it goes down, 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 then it will start to shoot up. And when it starts to shoot up, if you think about it, if we already have, $3 trillion of business that came here in the United States to invest, it's not going to happen overnight. But what does happen overnight is you have construction companies are going to be having to build these factories. You're going to have electricians. You're going to have all these different trades that have to build these factories. But then once these factories are built, then you're going to have jobs here that we don't have right now. So it will create jobs, and I really believe in Trump saying the golden years. These are the golden years.
Yeah, golden age.
Golden age, and the golden age is you have to do something this radical to really change it up.
Right.
And he's changing it up, and it's just a matter of, do you believe that what he's doing is better than doing nothing? Now, remember, what Biden was doing, well, we don't know what Biden was doing, but what his team was doing around him was printing money and just, regulation after regulation, and then, throwing money at everybody and anybody, but it was creating debt. And the markets don't mind that, but it's going to come to a point that you can't keep doing that without the dollar devaluing and being worth, like Venezuela, nothing.
Yeah, and when you look at the scope of what he's doing, really, I mean, this is just something that's been done to us for how many years? So we're just responding to what other countries are doing. I mean, I don't know why that would really rock the market, because it's going to bring in money. Like you said, it's bringing back jobs. It's going to bring back companies into this country that are out. Our pharmaceuticals are out. All of our automotive is out. It's all coming back, and that's going to be a great thing for America.
Yeah, no, if he was just spending, I think the market would be worse than what it's doing.
Yeah.
I think it would be worse because we're just adding debt to it. But what he's doing is a plan, and these countries are gonna come back and say, okay, let's make a deal.
Right.
And I like what Gutfeld said this week. It was either Gutfeld or it might have been Jesse. I think it was Jesse. He was saying one of them, and he was saying that when these countries come back and say, okay, let's make a deal, he hopes Trump doesn't say, I told you they would fold. Want him to be more humble. I know, but it'd be better if he just said, let's do it. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Well,
because
when you make a hat, Trump was right about everything. I mean,
but
he is pretty much right on what he's doing.
He's right, but it's this time I really don't think he did it as good as he could have with, he wasn't going to tax the car, the automotive industry, and then the next day the market went up. Then the next day market went down because he said, nope, cars are going to be taxed. Right. So it's just not a cohesive message that they're all on the same page. But the big picture is, yes, we have to do something like this to get trade back in order so we don't have a $2 trillion deficit each and every year on trade, and get that down to half a billion or something like that, not trillions, not
$2
trillion.
With the money that with the cuts that are being done through Doge, I mean, should put us in if we can balance the budget, that would be something great, wouldn't it? Yeah,
and the budget hasn't been balanced in over 23, 24 years. So this is something that needs to be done. We got to go through this little bit of, it might be a little bit of harder pain, but if you have a good plan and know this money is going to come back, you only lose the money in your accounts is when you sell it and get out. So as long as you're doing good stuff and you're rebalancing and you're repositioning, keeping you invested, it's a good thing. So if you need to come in for a review, this might be the time. And we have 9 spots to come in this next week for review, and John will tell you how.
Yeah, well, maybe you've been with your advisor for some time and you're a little bit shell-shocked this week by what's happening in the market. You really need to go through Alfie's retirement simulator process, which is a deep dive into your current portfolio to see what's really going on. He's going to expose all the hidden fees inside your portfolio. He's going to make sure that you're allocated properly, diversified correctly, that you're not taking undue risk for the amount of return that you're getting, that you've been rebalancing so your asset classes and your mixes are in line with your vision and your income plan and strategy. And look, if you don't have an income plan or a strategy, what are you waiting for? Be one of the first 9 callers. Pick up the phone right now. That's all Alfie can handle in his office here is 9 people per week. So pick up your phone, call the operator, tell them I want to take advantage of Alfie's retirement simulator process. Or better yet, if you like to text the word VISIT, V-I-S-I-T, to 239-747-1077. Again, if you want to put together an income plan and a strategy that will get you through these difficult times, these uncertain times of the market volatility, you really need to have a plan, because he that fails to plan plans to fail. And Alfie's going to put together a strategy based on 40 years, that's right, 40 years experience as a certified financial planner professional. This isn't his first rodeo. He knows what he's doing, and he's going to help get you to and through retirement. Text the word VISIT, 239-747-1077. Stay tuned. We're going to be right back right after this break, so don't go away.
Welcome back to Saving the Investor. This is Alfie Townsend, Southwest Florida Certified Financial Planner Professional, here with Pastor John Antonucci, and there is a lot happening this week. This past week, we had the announcement of tariffs, and that is a word, like John said, that the president likes, and it's a word that most people don't like. But if you look at what's been happening to our country for years and years and years, it sounds like we've been on the losing end of tariffs. So maybe that will change. And again, it takes. I tell clients we got to go through the ugly to get through to the pretty, and this is exactly what we have to do right now. We have to go through this mess, maybe, because we're in a mess.
Yeah,
we are in a mess, and Biden did not leave us sitting pretty. He left us with 10 million plus people coming over our borders. A lot of them are criminals. He left us with a debt. He left us just really to hang us out and dry, really. It just was not a good situation. Usually you want to leave the office, better than what you came in at, and it was not the case. It was not the case. So President Trump is having to clean up a mess, and this is one of them. Is the tariffs has been something that's been a deficit for us for almost $2 trillion a year. So this is something that hopefully in the long run it's going to pay dividends. And if we can get costs down, if we can, like John said, if we get a balanced budget, we can get taxes down, we can have more people working, unemployment let's get that down to the lowest possible. And then when you have prices coming down, inflation comes down. He did it once, and it's not like he didn't do it in his first term. He had factories up and running. He also had businesses coming back doing business here. He had lower taxes. He had the biggest tax decrease in years. So we know he can do it. It's just we got to have faith. We voted him in, and I think we just have to have faith that he's doing the right thing to get our country back strong, because it was really broken.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to be a Rhodes Scholar to figure out that if you stop spending more going out than what's coming in, that you're going to be successful, and that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to cut back what's going out to other countries, what we're paying for, and bring it in a surplus, because his goal is to wipe out, the debt and to make us, fiscally responsible again. And I mean, what is that going to do for our country? I mean, if we can get rid of this, because like you said, what's the interest payment on the debt? That's a big thing, isn't it?
Well, that's a big thing. The interest on the debt is the interest that we're just paying right now for the debt that we have is paying for Social Security and the defense budget. That means
bigger, right?
That means that just the debt alone would be paying. I mean, just the interest alone on the debt that we're paying, just the interest right now would take care of the defense that we have the budget, and Social Security.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
big.
That's crazy because that's our biggest part. So we have, we have like 4.5 trillion coming in, and we have 7 trillion that needs to go out. So every year there's a deficit. Every year. That's why Doge is so important to get this, Social Security taken care of. And when you're when you're tackling Social Security, we're not talking about not paying people their Social Security. We're talking about, okay, what do we need to do to change it to help it? Well, one thing is getting people that aren't supposed to be on Social Security. There's so much waste there.
Right.
If you can find the waste there, if you can find the waste in Medicare and Medicaid, there's so much waste there. So there's big government agencies that we could probably save, $500 billion to $1 trillion of just waste. Yeah. And so this is good stuff when you're going through your finances, and like you said, John, when you have more money going out than coming in, it's a problem. And what does the Bible say? Let's preach a little bit about debt.
Yeah. Well, those that are borrowers are servants to the lender. So, I mean, it basically holds us in bondage. And if you can get debt free, I mean, that's first of all, that would be a great feel. You talk about Liberation Day. I mean, if we can get debt free, and then, like you said, we don't have to pay an interest payment that is in line with our Social Security. And what can we do for our seniors, our veterans, all the homeless? Well, what can we do to really make America great again? It's not just in word only. This guy has a plan. And, you could either rip the Band-Aid off slow or rip it off quick, and he's ripping it off quick. And, we're going to feel some pain. But in the midst of that, we're seeing inflation come down, aren't we? I mean, eggs are down 50%. I was still waiting for meat to come down and different things. Yeah. But it's affecting the average family out there. And if we don't do anything, it's just going to get worse for the middle class. And pretty soon there won't be a middle class if we don't do this.
Yeah, and people that made money over the last 4 years had to have equity and assets. They had to have stocks, or they had to have housing.
Right.
And a lot of people couldn't afford a house because of the interest rates were so high, so they were renting. So they missed out. Well, probably people took out money out of their 401ks because they had to pay these, this high interest rate and high rates of inflation over the last 4 years. So, but the people that were able to make it was the people that had money in the stock market and had a house that appreciated, assets that appreciated. So these are all things we have to, to make America strong again. And we saw what happened during COVID. Look at the mess that we had during COVID. People with their prescription drugs, they were worried about that because that was being made over in China. We have to get prescription drugs made over here. Why not have factories just here for all prescription drugs? I mean, I just don't understand. I think anybody's willing to pay an extra $10 for a prescription or whatever it is to have it made here and know it's being made safe, and know that if we do have a pandemic, we're going to be just fine because we're not begging for them to send us masks or send us stuff that we don't make anymore. It's you have to look at the long picture, and I think COVID opened it up. I think COVID opened it up, saying how the chain was broken. Supply chain was broken, and you saw the ships out there. You saw food going to waste. You saw things that we couldn't get, and that's what, if we bring stuff over here, it's going to be stronger. It's going to be stronger, but yes, we got to go through this to get to the good.
Yeah, well, I think what I love is that Trump is really, if you look at Obama, you look at Biden, you look at Bush, he's really the only president that's being proactive in a sense, that he's doing something to really advance and help the American people. And we have listeners that are listening on the radio broadcast right now that they've just been sitting back with their portfolio, not being proactive to do anything, and they're just rolling with what's happening in the markets. I mean, what would you say to them as far as what they could do to be proactive in the midst of what Trump is doing so that they can maximize their portfolio and really bring in returns even in the midst of a volatile market.
That's a good point, John, because right now is a time, if you haven't had your portfolio checked, now is a time to come in and say, let's take a look at it and let's see if we can put you in a better situation so we can start taking some good income and let the money rebound and have it in the market, buying it at a discount. It's, it hurts more as anybody. It's just nature to say, I'm afraid, I don't want to buy, the market's down a lot. But then you got to ask yourself, okay, if I can think a little bit different, if I can say, okay, the market's down, this is where the rich people make money. This is where the uber rich jumps on things, because it's like an animal that's hurt. These other animals are going to take advantage of them.
Right.
And you got to have that mentality of, okay, it hurts, but I know it's the right thing to do. You got to have blind faith. Or you have to have an advisor that will help you. And that's what we do. You hear us talking right now. I mean, this is what we do for our clients. We let them know. And I'm going to, I sent out a video, and our clients got a video for our Friday financial wrap-up, and this is what they heard. They heard us talking about, yes, it's not going to be easy. You're going to have some pain. If you have extra money, let's put it in. If you have a Roth, if you're thinking about doing a Roth conversion, this is a good time to do it. Why would you do it when the market's down? Well, you take the money out, you put it over into from IRA to Roth, pay the tax on it, but the possibility of it growing fast because the market's down is what you want, because it's going to grow fast, and then all that money is tax-free. So there's some good planning that you can do, but like John said, sitting on the sideline is not a plan. It's a plan to fail. That's what it is. So you got to brush yourself off and say, okay, what do we need to do to make some money?
Yeah, one of the great things that Alfie does that's proactive is really put you in a position with taxes, because you may be looking at your portfolio and saying, I have $1 million or $5 million or whatever it is in there. But when you start taking it out, you really don't have that kind of money because you're going to be paying taxes on that. And he has put together a tax map that will address the ticking time bomb that you don't know about, because you don't know what taxes are going to be this year, next year, 10 years from now. And if you don't have a plan, like Alfie said, you're planning to fail. He has put together a plan that will address uncertainties and instill confidence in your future. And as a certified financial planner professional, Alfie's tax map thrives to help you in 3 great areas, and that is, number 1, lower your tax bracket; number 2, protect your money when taxes rise; and number 3, create a tax-free income. Listen, be one of the first 9 callers to reach out to Alfie right now. It's absolutely free. All you have to do is call the operator and ask for the tax map, or text the word tax, TAX, to 239-747-1077. Don't hesitate. Call or text now to request Alfie's tax map. Put together a plan and a strategy to minimize future taxes and generate a tax-free income. The best time to do it is right now. That's exactly what Alfie said. He's going to show you plans and strategies to be able to do that. Pick up the phone, call the operator, or text the word tax. Be one of the first 9 callers right now. TAX to 239-747-1077. That's 239-747-1077. Stay tuned. We're going to be right back right after this break, so don't go away. Welcome back to Saving the Investor with certified financial planner Alfie Townsend. You know, Alfie has 40 years experience. That's 40 as a certified financial planner professional. He's also a fiduciary, which means his responsibility is to you, the individual investor, not to the products or services that he offers here through the Advantage Retirement Group. And Alfie is going to help you focus on what we can control and how to take a proactive role during turbulent times like we're in. So stick around. You don't want to miss what he has to say. But before we get into that, again, we want you to remember that his book is available, Making Waves in Retirement. He has a limited amount of copies that are complimentary, that are available for you today. And all you have to do is pick up your phone, call the operator, or text the word book, BOOK, to 239-747-1077. Again, you can get Alfie's book complimentary by picking up the phone, 239-747-1077. 1077, or basically, you can text the word book to that number as well, or call the operator. And you're talking about Roth conversions. That's very interesting because you can either pay the tax now and know what it is, and we are in a low income tax bracket, or you can roll the dice and see what happens as your portfolio grows. And then when you take it out, pay the tax and not know who's going to be the president then, or, what tax they're going to be. So really, wouldn't it make sense to really lower your tax liability now?
Yeah, we know what the taxes are right now. We're in a very low tax bracket, and with a high debt, if we, taxes most likely should be going up. And if Congress has to pass this, the Senate has to pass this, so we're hoping that we get a budget, a bill passed with lower taxes, again, lowering taxes and having some other benefits in there. So this is not going to be easy. That's why these, the tariffs, that's why these tax cuts, that's why the Doge is all important, because that you have to offset tax cuts with, it's like if you're balancing a budget, how much you got coming in, how much you got going out. Okay, there's a balanced budget there. We're good with it. But if you have all this stuff going out and you're trying to cut these taxes, everything, and you're not supplying any additional money coming back into the revenue, then that doesn't work. So it's not going to pass. So
and I would think a lot of retirees aren't thinking about this because, when they take their money out, they used to have deductions, right? They had housing and all different things. Now you don't have deductions, so now you might be in a higher tax bracket, wouldn't you?
Yeah, and President Trump is trying to, talk about maybe if you buy an American car, you can deduct the interest, and these are all things that he's, as a businessman, you have to think about it. We always said a president needs to be a business man, because he's running he's running the country, which is running the largest company that's running the biggest company in the world.
Right.
He is running that, and he has his board members, which is his team there, and they know how to get things done. Businessmen more than a politician. Politician, that's never owned a business is not going to be able to
never created one job.
Never created a job, and what they're like doing to Elon Musk is absolutely absurd. And the cars that they're demolishing are the Democrats' cars, because that's who bought most of those cars. Yeah, it's it just you can't teach stupid, I always say, and that's about as stupid as you can be. Yeah. And he's going to be just fine.
Right.
Elon Musk will be. You can burn all the cars you want. It's not, he's
got them insured.
It's not going to hurt him at all. And now what it does is I just played golf with a guy that went and bought one this past week.
Did he like it?
Yeah, he loves it. Yeah. He loves it.
Self-driving is on.
Self-driving, yeah. This Ainsley was talking about. Sean Hannity bought one, I guess a week or two ago, and they went to dinner, and he pressed a button on his phone, and the car came from the parking lot to him. And then he gets in the car, and then he puts in his home, and he's driving without touching it. No brakes, no nothing. Is driving all the way home, and then he said, "Watch this," and he gets on his phone, and he starts texting, and it shuts it off. Huh. Because you're supposed to keep an eye on what you're doing. You can't be on the computer, can't be on your phone. So it's smart enough to know that, hey, you're on your phone, you're not paying attention.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is. And the stuff that he's making, I mean, he's real close to having implant for people that have lost their sight.
Right.
Just think of Stevie Wonder. That's who the first one I think of. Stevie Wonder's had no sight his whole life, right?
Yeah, that'd be amazing to be able to see after not seeing it all.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's some, what he has done is just amazing with, and buying Twitter, and then SpaceX is, recovering the astronauts that were left in space. I mean, so brilliant. Yeah, he's brilliant, and that's who Trump is putting himself around, is people that are smart people, and so I think in the long run with the team that he has, it's going to be just fine. But yeah, when the markets go down, we don't like to see our accounts go down.
Right.
We don't like to see the accounts go down. But if you know what the market does, and you look at the history in the market, anytime it comes down, when it comes back, it roars back. And if you think about it, if we have more jobs here, if you have $3 trillion of money that came over here to be spent from countries and companies to invest here in the United States, that's going to create jobs. So the economy is going to get strong. And a recession, they're talking about a recession. We had one of our economists on talking to our clients, and he says, he doesn't see a recession, where tariffs will cause a recession. He said if what tariffs do is if either you're going to pay the extra for that product that you want, or you're going to buy a different product that doesn't have a tariff. So it's not going to affect it it's not going to affect it very little, he said, very little. And they're saying, he's not the only one saying that. A lot of people are saying that. So I just think, this show, I just want you to realize that, don't make any rash choices of getting out of the market. But what you might want to do is give us a call. John will set you up with our number. Come in, let us look at what we'll show you what we do. We'll show you what we found out, what's going on inside your portfolio. See if we can put you in a better position. So when this market roars back, you're roaring back a lot faster than you would be if you didn't do anything. And then if you're taking income out of your portfolio, this is where you're going to leave our office with a smile on your face and say, my goodness, I didn't realize I can get this kind of income from this little bit of money, that I have, and let my other money sit there and grow. These are the things that we do here. So John will let you know how to set up an appointment. Like I said, we have 9 spots that we do per show per week because we take care of our clients, and we don't want to inundate a bunch of appointments, but 9 is what we have. So John will let you know how to do it.
Yeah, Alfie will help you show you how to take the emotion out of investing. I know you want to run right now, especially when the market's down, but he's going to show you even from past performance of what he's done, how he's bought more during these times to be able to bring portfolios back, roaring back, and that's why you need a retirement simulator process. Be one of the first 9 callers right now. Pick up your phone, call the operator, or text the word VISIT, VISIT, to 239-747-1077. Alfie will sit down with you. Knowledge will really bring confidence to you so that you know you're making the best decisions that you can for your portfolio. Takes the emotion out of investing. Make sure you're allocated, diversified. Make sure you're not taking undue risk for the amount of return that you're getting. Exposing all the hidden fees. Making sure you're rebalancing correctly. Be one of the first 9 callers before we go off the show today. 239-747-1077. Again, text the word VISIT, VISIT, to 239-747-1077.
Thank you, John. And yeah, this is one of those shows that I would love to put as an evergreen, meaning that when we're not here, we can run this one again, but we're not going to ever do that one with this show because this is one that is for right now, this week, and the rest of the year. So I hope everybody got something out of it, and if nothing else, know that what's happening with these tariffs are going to probably be some changes along the way. There's going to be countries that are going to say, listen, let's make a deal. So they're not going to be as strong as what they are right now. So if nothing else, I think it's going to get better, and that will save us money in the long run too if the countries are lowering their tariffs for us. So I look forward to what the future brings. And also, if you've never seen our TV show, it's called Saving the Investor. It's on NBC, local NBC, every Sunday at 11 o'clock, 11 to 11:30 after Meet the Press. And, of course, we've been on this station for many, many years and have Jake helping us. Jake the Millennial got his big job. He's a big wig now at the station. So I'm glad we knew him when we knew him at the very beginning. Until next week, everybody be blessed.